Hey guys, it's LRTD here, and today we're going to be reviewing the HTC Tilt 2. This isn't the first startup of the phone. Just want to pull it out and show you how long it takes to start up.
I'll just go to the other room, I'm sorry.
It's Chris from Jersey. Takes a little while to boot up. The first boot took maybe about 5 minutes for it to go through the settings and configuration. It takes a couple minutes after it boots up to launch TouchFlow 3D. Still booting up. Just one of the backgrounds that it comes with on the Windows screen before it launches TouchFlow 3D. You can see the phone is quite slow, as it only has 512 megabytes of flash ROM and 288 of SD RAM. Also, it's got a 528 megahertz processor. It's a little slower for what I'd like to see on a Windows Mobile 6.5 phone. Alright, so TouchFlow 3D is finally launched, and it's pretty basic. It's what most HTCs come with that are Windows Mobile. You can scroll through a variety of options here. Go into the programs. You can customize this list by adding or removing whatever programs or features that you've added on here. Let's go into remove to show you how. I'll remove Skype real quick. And then hit done. Add a feature. And it brings you up your list of programs. That's just how to add a program. We'll go through some of the settings. Now this is HTC's version of the settings versus going into the Windows part of it to change settings. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. To change, let's say if you want to turn the Wi-Fi on, let's go to communications and see if I get a better view here. And turn the Wi-Fi on, you select that. And we'll try to connect to whatever it finds. Right now it's just got my profile saved on it, so should be authenticated. When you tap the top of the screen, you get a little notification box. It'll tell you if you have any new messages or what the battery life is, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, or if you have any data connection. Just hit close there for a second. And it's got your basic stuff that you'd find in a modern phone, like your G sensor or accelerometer, as you call it. It's got a cool little calibrator here. Looks like a level. Okay. When I first got this phone, it was unbearably slow. You could barely do anything with it. So at first I had to hard reset the phone for it to actually work, which isn't surprising because this has happened to me with another Windows Mobile phone before. I'll go into that one later. The cool part about this phone is the keyboard, because it's rather large for a sliding keyboard phone, and it tilts too, hence the tilt. Go into some of the applications that use data. We'll go into Facebook IM. That's going to launch using the Wi-Fi right now. Just takes a minute, as again this is not the fastest phone that you can buy. Now I'm going to show you the on-screen keyboard versus the pull-out keyboard to show you the difference. on-screen keyboard is much like the iPhone's keyboard, but I find it a little harder to type on because the letters are close together. Just hit enter there, hit send. Now, you have a variety of options that you can use for the keyboard. I'll get into the later in another video. Just gonna show you the slide out keyboard. It's much easier to type with. So, this is just one of the cool applications. It doesn't come with this, but you can get this pretty much anywhere on the web for Facebook IM. It's a lot more convenient than launching the web browser. I'll show you how to go into the Windows configuration. You just press the Windows button down here, and then it brings you to the Windows screen, which shows you a staggered view of a bunch of different applications and changing the settings. It is a bit different than Windows Mobile 6.1, but if you've had experience with Windows Mobile 6.1, you'll pretty much be able to navigate the phone. And instead of having like 3 tabs for configurations and settings, they have 3 folders instead, such as the connections, which is different than the HTC view, and personal settings, and then the system settings. Also, a couple different features, like the lock feature. You have to go into the Windows part to lock, but sometimes it takes a minute to lock. There you go. And it has, much like the iPhone, where you just slide to unlock. And then I'll head over. The weather application is pretty cool. I'm going to show you the Internet Explorer, the new one that came out, versus what was on 6.1. I can watch the whole thing just to show you that it will actually load. I'll put up the sound. So it's pretty cool versus the old Internet Explorer. It's a little laggy switching when you're watching the video from landscape to portrait. And as you can see, it's got a little lag. I'll exit out of this. This actually gives you the option to exit versus Internet Explorer on Windows Mobile 6.1 and below. And about this, the size is actually a pretty good size. It's comparable to the iPhone in size. Put it side by side. They're about the same size in the width, but the HTC is a lot thicker and it's a lot heavier than the iPhone. But there's a lot of similarities between them with the interface. Whereas like the program screen looks pretty much the same, except you scroll to the right on the iPhone, whereas you scroll up and down for the programs. And I'm going to put it next to a Samsung Epix, which is my old phone. It's about the same thickness, but it's also about the same width, but once again the HTC outweighs the Samsung Epix by a lot. Now I'll talk about battery life a little bit. The battery life on this is horrible. It'll take it won't even last a day on a charge. If you're going to use Wi-Fi or 3G, it's just very very low. Yeah, show you the battery. It also features a 3.2 megapixel camera, which is pretty good actually. I like it better than my Samsung Epix because Windows Mobile 6.5 has a lot of cool features, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're going to be using heavy data and you want a phone that's pretty fast to navigate with, because this just isn't the phone. I'm going to update more about this as I go on and as I use it. I'll go into programs and other things with the phone. But for now, that's all.